Okay. Here we go. Sorry. What good does it have in your face? It's okay. Hiya. We'll sit here. Yeah. I'm here now, Wednesday. I'm in at 7. I'll pop in. What time are you going to be? 9? I'll pop in I've got another chair here if anyone needs a chair. Do you want to be over here, Lucy? My wedding is I will give it to half past. We all make it. 4 minutes. Yes.
Is there somebody called Emma?
Hi, Emma.
Church Street, we're looking at
Yeah,
so that is, I can answer that.
Yes.
That's not so
We had spoken about that. Do we need another chair? Yeah. I don't know who the owner is. You know.
No, I can answer that question.
Yeah.
quite good.
A support dog. I don't have many seconds. I don't have many trees now falling. Yeah, but there's seizure. Yeah, it's fine. But it's the.
How long are you in that for?
This.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for an MRI at the moment, so I've had my X-rays and everything else. So I'm just waiting for it to reattach a ligament.
I won't tell you that I've got one within a week then.
An MRI. Well, I was at home on Monday, not on Tuesday, and they did the MRI.
No leak.
I thought Bernie was
Did you get an email from D Davison?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So I used to send that to you every night, but he's got my contact, so he's
I said that one,
yeah, that's fine. So I'm gonna make your way with
I've been there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, our meeting starts at 7, so is it a long agenda meeting?
No, just one.
Yeah, so like they said it'd be actually long.
I better make sure I try it again. I better make sure I try it again,
It's not mine.
That land is hot.
No, it's not. Well, that's what they like. I know they're
Right, we are 6:30, so I think we will get started if everyone's happy and comfortable. Thank you all for coming. I know it's not long. Oh, Bernie's here. Hi Bernie, we were just starting. Not long since we had our last meeting, which was back in the end of November. So not long ago at all. I know we've had Christmas. I hope everyone's had a lovely Christmas and good New Year so far. As we explained before, I think pretty much everyone who was here tonight was here last time. So we had that conversation about it now being district priorities. So this meeting has been moved forward. It's a little bit closer than we would normally have then, just so we can then feed back to the partners and then they decide on a district priority. So I think that's end of Feb, beginning of March. So that's why we're getting this meeting in now. So we're ready to go for when they have that district meeting. So at the moment, our priorities as a district, and that is the whole of North Norfolk, are vehicle speeding and nuisance and shop thefts, retail thefts in and around the district. So as you can imagine, with Christmas, we've been hit fairly hard with those, but we've had some really good results around retail thefts, especially in Sainsbury's. We've had some really positive outcomes with that. And with our vehicle ASB, we had a vehicle seized at the end of December with regards to careless driving. So that we talked before about the Section 59 notices. So that's someone that had been given a Section 59 notice before, and then because of the manner of their driving, they had their vehicle seized, and that would have been the cost to them to get that back. And then it starts again. They still have an initial warning. So if they get caught again, the vehicle will be seized again. So hopefully that will have put sort of a shot across a few bows in the town, fingers crossed. But open to the floor. There's quite a lot of you here again this evening, more than we had in November. So how have things been? Who wants to start with what you want me to feed back to our district partners?
Oh, the white lines on Kennedy Road,
Mhm.
I came the Monday, they were done the Friday.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's
I
one thing
still
off the
haven't
list.
started them, but they look nice.
Right. Good.
We asked for some to put on the agenda and save our streets.
Yeah, so we don't have an agenda anymore, Bernie, but we
Right,
are
okay.
happy for you to raise that whilst you're here. And I know we've had
Okay.
your emails. Do you want to go ahead? Do you want to talk
Can
about that?
do, it depends on who else wants to speak. We've got some residents here.
Yeah.
I was going to speak for long, but a little bit of
Yeah, by all
context
means,
and
yeah.
background. So this is all to do with the roadworks, much needed in the town, 6 months worth. There will be some gain there, we hope, into road safety and traffic flows. There's some pain. The problem is all the pain is coming through the small roads on the west of the town. That is the issue, and it's because the county council haven't promoted and signed the official diversion down Old Yarmouth Road, and that has been going on for 3 weeks now. It's been very difficult to actually get them to engage and do something. Saul now has got engaged with it. We have made some progress, but it's still now an issue that has been running through Elsham Road, Skyview Road, Cherry Tree Lane, and then through to Station Road and Millfield Road. That's causing some serious issues on the roads that are already very vulnerable for pedestrians.
Yeah.
We all know that Elsham Road hasn't got a pavement. So that is why we came to you, I looked at the file, some years ago, we
Yeah.
came to you initially to see what we could do about it. You were very helpful along with the county council and the district, and we got that 20 mph in. Now that's the issue, that's why we've got it there,
Yeah.
and that's being flouted quite regularly.
Yeah.
And there is congestion there as well, and that causes problems for pedestrians to actually move up and down that road. They just can't get through because it's so tight. So at different times and different roads there are different issues, and it's not just one snapshot.
Yeah.
There's a, and of
It's
course
both,
when
yeah.
people get frustrated and confused about what the diversion is,
Yeah.
then they drive fast when it is clear.
Yeah.
So what we're asking for, I mean, there's issues with the county council ongoing, still haven't done the signage properly yet.
Yeah.
That's still an issue, the school knows. And what we are asking for to the police is actually have a presence there.
Yeah.
So have some enforcement as well.
Yeah.
I think some fines have to go out when you catch people. Town council have also moved on this, and they've reinstalled that SAM.
Yeah.
And we need the data there so that you can then target the times and the drivers, and then take action.
So this week I will be there. When I got your emails last week, I
Yeah.
was on late shifts and I was covering response, so there would have been no point at 9 o'clock at night being down there when I'm covering other jobs. But I am back in. Today is a day off for me, but I'm here with you all. And I will be back in tomorrow morning, and that's first thing on my list, getting down there and doing some enforcement school run times, which I know has been
That
mentioned quite a
coincides
lot.
with the busiest times
Yeah.
in rush hour as well.
Yeah.
That's the scariest time to watch that.
I think the issue we were having this discussion beforehand, and I think although it's going to be, the diversion's going to be signed down towards the Worcester turning, I think for those that live in town, I think will automatically use it and go down that way
It's
because
baked in
it's
now.
cheaper, so quicker to go down the Aylsham Road. I know that's not ideal, but I think people that live that end of town will use that automatically and not go
May I
down there.
just say though, not being in town,
Mhm.
I need to get somewhere else, and I started following the diversion and completely lost it. And
And
my,
there's-
an hour and a half later,
really,
and that's really taking
Yeah.
the mickey.
I think
You're right.
the issue we've had is we've
You're
got the diversion that's signposted for Marshgate as well. So every end of town at the moment there seems to be diversion signage, and that is one of our issues. That it's difficult to know where you're actually going. I think clearly, I would say highways are going to be on
Yeah.
that.
So I'm Saul Penfold, your county councillor for North
So you're the
Walsham.
person I have to blame for my diesel consumption.
Yes. I'll give you a bit of context, if I may, if that's okay. So I was elected in 2021 with Lucy, and I think almost from the get-go, were lobbied about Grammar School Road, congestion on Grammar School Road, and safety, pedestrian safety crossing on the Norwich Road from the Hopkins side over to Millfield and the skate park. So we've spent a long time with highways trying to persuade them to spend some money on North Walsham. We get an annual budget of £10,000 to spend on highways across our divisions. So my division is half of North Walsham, and then 13 of the parishes goes right across to Aylsham and Whitmere and Aldborough, right over there. We budgeted 10,000 between us for highways to do a feasibility study, which said yes, Grammar School Road can be changed, but we haven't got any money for it. So we went back and said, well, we've just spent £10,000, we could have spent it on other things. For you to say it can be done, but it can't be funded. So from that, we then lobbied much harder, higher up in highways, with the head of highways who came here and made a visit and saw the congestion, saw the B1150, A149 crossroads and the problems there, and went back and said, we need to sort this. So allocated a budget of £750,000, which is fantastic. So as Bernie says, the outcomes will be great. Grammar School Road, as you go down, will have a filter lane off to the right to King's Arms Street of about 7 cars.
So I got 20 years ago.
As it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Before my time, but people have said that, and that is
The idiot
ridiculous.
what that should have been shot.
Well, a former mayor of North Walsham said he thought when highways did that change, they had the map round the wrong way. Because the lane coming up Grammar School Road is twice as wide as the one going down.
Well, that's always if you
We're
can't
crazy.
turn right, you've got to
Yeah.
back one, go on, back.
So that will happen. Then, obviously, you come down the road, you'll be able to turn right there. There'll be a filter lane. That'll ease it a bit. You'll turn left to get to the crossroads. There will be a new lane left at the crossroads to go to Worstead in that direction, Stalham and Wroxham. So there'll be a left-hand lane there. There'll be one straight onto the Norwich and a right lane to Cromer. So there'll be 3 there. So that will help hopefully ease that congestion back up Grammar School Road as well. and then 2 pedestrian crossings, 2 new pedestrian crossings, one from the station over to the skate park, which is fantastic, and then one on the Cromer Road side from the town over to the skate park. So that's the context of what we're doing. So highways, I'm delighted that we got that in. We've had many meetings with them. They said it will take 20 weeks, which I think we sort of our jaws hit the floor. So I said, when you say 20 weeks, you probably mean 24 or 26. So I think we should probably think about this going through to the summer till June and look at a worst case scenario. And if it's better than that, then all right. Clearly, there have been issues with it, and the diversions being one of them, not being signed properly, not being publicised properly, not responding to emails from Bernie and others. And then when I emailed them last week, actually a really poor response, quite inadequate. I hope you were copied in on that, Bernie. So, got back in touch again and said, for example, when the diversion signs are there on the Yarmouth Road, the old Yarmouth Road, could you please put some place names on them to show people who aren't familiar with North Walsham where it is they're supposed to be going? Great Yarmouth, for example, or Norwich. But, well, we don't really need that. Well, actually, you do. Why wouldn't you have it? That's a question you always have to ask. So that will be done. Better publicity on their website, on the town council's website, down the Walsham Road. I mean, they looked at that and said that's not part of the diversion route. So we had to go back and say, yes, but you've got to look at this holistically.
Yeah.
It impacts the town. It's not good enough to say that's not the official diversion because people are going that way. Emma's right. It's people who know North Walsham who are not going to go right down the Yarmouth Road to go round. They'll go Walsham Road and New Sky Road. So they've accepted that, and we've just ordered today, Bernie, some pedestrians in road signs, some permanent ones to go on the that says "Think pedestrians in road," because you've got other ones that show people. So there'll be permanent ones. They were going to put some temporary ones in the road, but of course that would be a hazard because you'd have to walk round them, which would make it even more dangerous for pedestrians there. So they've, and I've suggested that they come here to have an open morning. They weren't that keen on that, unfortunately, but I think that would be really good. We could host it here. Obviously, Lucy, I'm the chair now of the Phoenix Trust, so we'd be very happy to hold it here so that people could come and, it's not just Bernie emailing them, it's you come and talk and, they shouldn't be nervous on it because we'd all be polite, we'd be rigorous, but so I'm hoping to get that, but I'm not sure whether they will or not. So hopefully better signage, more awareness of the pedestrians in the road, Emma with some speed checks, the Sam 2 signs being down there. But I think Emma's right. I think it's difficult to get folks away from that part of town because everyone knows that's who's familiar with these streets. That is the way they'll go. So it's about how we calm that and sort of mitigate that impact over the next few months. But anyway,
I think that the larger concern is the second part of the project that Sol and I are campaigning for funding for is the King's Arm Street pavement widening, which is very, very needed. We all know it's not wide enough, and Highways have done a study that we've paid for out of our budget, and they've gone, "No, you're correct, it's not wide enough." So we're just waiting now for that funding. So the concern is how the diversions for there will affect everywhere else. And then if we're looking forward into the future, we've got the expansions on the west of the town, the Munsley Road development, which is coming up for consultation. The plans have actually gone into the district now, and how traffic is going to be managed on all of these sites. So it's possibly a little nod to Highways to get their housing.
But they should, it's not the first time they've done it.
It's not
in a town in Norfolk. They should be on this. I mean, the King's Arm stuff won't happen whilst this is happening, obviously, because we haven't got that agreed yet. But what will happen, and I'm not sure about the timings of this, but I guess it will happen whilst the Crossroads works are going on, because that's a substantial one, because that will all be resurfaced properly as well, the whole junction. So that'd be good. So a bit like the Cromer Crossroads were. Is that so when the grammar school road work is done, you will still be able to go down there to get to the doctors and around and everything else, but there will be a lane out on Grammar School Road whilst that stuff is done. So it'll be single lane traffic down there with, you know, lights at either end basically. So that will cause, you know, some further issues because you still won't be able to go down there and turn left to get to the crossroads. So that is, sorry to be the bad news, that is coming. I'm not quite sure of the timing. That is a much quicker bit of work to do the Grammar School Road roundabout than the crossroads, obviously.
Can I say something? My name is Jeff Harrison. I live on Millfield Road since 2006. I know it's all through the school. When we bought our house in Millfield Road, we warned there was a bit of a rough run, but it's become much worse. Before the roadworks are undergoing at the moment, and I'm concerned about the number of HGVs, the congestion, the oncoming traffic turning left off Norwich Road into Millfield Road, comes right into the middle of the road. There are no parking signs that have been put up, have cleared the parking okay. That's very inconvenient for some residents. I don't know if any are here who haven't converted their front garden to car parking. They have to go a long way to park somewhere else. When Millfield Road is closed for roadworks, we have no HGVs. I just wonder where they go when they can't come down Station Road and Millfield Road. Is it a long way?
They would probably go through Worcester because of the bridge. There wouldn't be anywhere else that they would be able
So
to
it's
come.
quite-
It's
it's a
because of the
very
height of the
long
bridge.
diversion.
Yeah, so the reason they come down Milford Road is because the height of that bridge on the Norwich Road is
Yeah.
not big enough for them to get under,
Yeah.
hence why they come along that way. So I should imagine the diversion at that point would be way out of town as you're coming along the
But
Norwich Road.
then
so much.
Station Road and Millfield Road are not suitable for HGV.
Well, there was talk around about 30 years ago about having a relief road going from the Norwich
Well,
Road
it is, I
to the
noticed.
industrial estate.
Well, that is part of the North Walsham West development.
But I,
That was I
Yeah.
had a phone call when I was at Berry Plastics on the industrial estate from the, not Wendy, but from the town mayor at the time, because I was the logistics and transport manager for the company, with a simple request: you must stop bringing lorries into North Walsham. And the company, Alan Sandell, had moved Berry Plastics from Norwich to the brand new industrial estate at the time. We developed that, invested there, and expanded the site, and that was supplying, you know, food and drinks manufacturers all over the country, etc., with product, caps and closures and things like that. And obviously, we had to have tankers, 44-ton tankers coming in from Europe, which were on timed deliveries to fill the silos to keep that plant running 24/7.
Yeah.
We also had 40-foot curtain siders going out all over the country all the time. And we were encouraged, or the company was encouraged to come to North Walsham because of the
I think,
need for
and we've had Crane through half back in the day, didn't we? And
Exactly.
we've got Starlings and we've still got
and we were the largest
breweries,
employer
yeah.
there
So I think
in
it's
the company.
I think until you have that, like Saul says, that western kind of
But
development.
can I go on about the western, the proposal for that development on the western side? The road is going to go straight through the middle of the residential area. I mean, I'm not going to live there, and it will, that is where it will go.
Of the new development.
Yeah, the new development, I pointed this out in a letter to the county council. And I don't know, I spoke to the people who did the proposals anyway. And I said, look, you're going to have HGVs coming through here. Don't put it next to a school. You know, if you're going to have a bypass, put it on the periphery and have roads coming in, not straight through the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you.
Very sensible suggestion. I mean, that's part of the local plan, which would be delivered by what, 2039 now, something like that.
Yeah, I know, it's
Just
a long
like-
way.
That's-
60 years,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what you're talking about originally.
That is the timescale to completion.
It wouldn't be in Dubai.
Yeah, I would.
North Walsham was a medieval town that hasn't kept up with the 21st century, and that goes
Yes.
back about 30 to 40 years. They had their head in the sand when you had all, like you say, Crane throw off the plastics factory, you had the laundry, you had HP. They never went forward and thought, well, what are we going to
Yeah,
do
the
in
infrastructure.
40 or 50 years'
At the
time?
end of the day, you know,
We've still
we've
got
always
horse and
had.
cart roads, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one road into North Walsham where you can get the majority of
And
the
another,
curtain side is in.
and another bad road now is Lingash Road, because you've got cars parked for the residents outside their houses, and they're all coming off the bypass, and that now backslogs off back on the Mungie Road, because you have to hang back for them coming off the bypass,
Yeah.
what all come down the bypass.
And this was
goes down
raised
there.
at Wendy's last meeting with regards to the Munsley Road development. And that, a lot of that was talked about then, about the,
What, they're thinking about putting behind Slayfair Rise?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, a lot of that was.
they've been got to do that since 1968. Well, my brother had a bungalow built down there in 68, and they were going to do it then.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Planning's gone in, so
They put the road
They
in.
put the road
They
in.
put the road in.
So-
What's been there for 60 years?
Yeah.
Emma, maybe some other residents in the west of the town would like to speak about their day-to-day experience here,
By
particularly
all
those
means.
with children, and what they have to put up with down there, just to reinforce this point of how serious this is for life and limb down there. Anybody want to?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, but certainly it's something to do with young children, what's it? Well, just while you're down Aylsham Road, and now I live at the end of Station Road near the Weavers Way.
Yeah.
So the junction with Skating Road
Yeah.
comes out onto there.
Yeah.
Now, that junction, especially over the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's been getting busy, right? The Station Road a little bit over the last 2 years, I think. I do see
Yes.
it as well, especially with lorries.
Mm.
But in these last 2 weeks, the cars coming up Skating Road to that junction. Now, there's a lot of more people using the Weavers Way, which is great. It's a lovely little leisure track. But you know, you might jog. We've got young joggers now, we've got runners, cyclists, mums with push chairs, older people with dogs each end.
Yeah.
And they're meeting at that kind of
Yeah.
intersection as well. And they're trying to get across that road to the other end of the week.
Yeah.
The other,
Yeah.
So the cars coming up on Skating Road, I mean, I think the locals, they'll see somebody's hovering there to cross and they'll pause, which they should do. And think, yeah, somebody's going to cross. Now, Bernie's right. I think I've noticed, and it's alarmed me, this is why I've come tonight, a kind of impatience and anger and frustration with the way people are driving. Now, I'm a driver and I get that. You know, driven 20 minutes extra around North Walsham trying to find my way out. I can imagine they're getting, and they see Station Road and they're thinking, right, I can pull up here, I'm straight down to Norwich Road, Station Road, Milford. On the other side, on the right of that junction, you've got people who've come in from Aylsham Road, who've crossed that bad corner where they can't really see.
Yeah.
But then they've got a direct eye line down Station Road, and they're thinking, great, Norwich Road.
Yeah.
So that junction, I think, and I've lived there now over 3 years, and I'm a regular twice a day walk on the Weavers Way. I cross that junction quite a lot to come to Town. It's beginning to alarm me because the traffic at Skating Road, they're looking right
Yeah.
to see the traffic while they're
They're
staying
not looking,
left,
yeah.
and they're coming straight out. Now I've seen a couple of occasions where people at Weavers Way, the little jogger, has looked, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, she's going to cross. Then there's a car coming up and you're thinking, in a nanosecond you're thinking all this, you're thinking, yeah, they're going to stop. And they don't. You know, I think they think I can beat that pedestrian. I don't have to wait for her to jog across, or I can get round. And technically they can, but it's not, it's alarming to watch.
Okay. So if I mean, I can do enforcement
Well,
both
this is
ends, it's
why
not a problem. I
thought,
can
why
do
around that
There
area?
is
coming
a
into town,
pedestrian
coming out of town,
Because
Station
the school
Road.
run shoots down Station Road.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I've got is, I'm sure, this is the first time I've been, but I'm sure people are aware of that thin road stretch of pavement from Weavers Way down to the shop. You know, the school mums run up there with the push chairs and the children each side and the dog in front. There are elderly people coming down with dogs, you know.
Yeah.
If you meet anybody on that pavement, you are somebody's front garden or you're on the road. You know, and if I see the road's clear, I'm down the road.
Yeah.
Let them pass now. And the other thing, you're constantly looking for lorries. Because as you come onto that, I look and think, yeah, there's no lorries coming. I'm all right on this narrow stretch for here. But there are times when a lorry's come up and stopped. And you know, it's bizarre. I'm actually 6 inches from a huge lorry's wheel. I mean, I could measure his tyre treads for you to see the legal while I'm there. And I'm thinking, this is, in one way, it's quite bizarre. In another way, I'm thinking, good grief, what is happening here? You know, I'm 6 inches from that lorry's axle because he's had to stop while we're on that little narrow stretch of pavement. So to go back really, because I think that's other issues, like the highway maybe, that junction at Skaten Road, if you do have a look at that, at the busy times. The other thing is, this is winter now, and Weaver's Way, although it's busier than it has been, it's quieter in winter. A couple of months when you've got the milder days and things like that, you have got the joggers coming, the more joggers, more runners, more cyclists, more people with dogs. It's a lovely leisure track. And I think that little junction there, you know, there could be a stop sign at the junction to make cars stop there, and everybody can come out, rather than swing around. And maybe some caution for those who come in from the airship and think, great, station road, we can build it down here.
Again, though, I would have to feel that back to
I was just going to say,
county.
Yes, have a look.
I have no power over
Well, I could-
signage.
Yeah.
I can stand there, but I can't be there
Have a
24
look at
hours.
I could
that.
Yeah.
do you think there's some signage?
Yeah, because that's the kind of that £10,000 I mentioned that our local budgets, we often use that on things like additional signs.
That junction is
So
getting worse.
I'll have a meeting down there with our highways engineer and see what we could do. I've taken some notes about those concerns.
And it is the right time in a way, because as I said, I live near that end. I can step out of my drive, look up and down the road, and it's like a quiet country lane, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. But at certain times, and clearly we all take, I don't go out in the weekend with 2 dogs, you know, and expect to have a nice, calm crossing. And so we all time our ways to get on there. But that junction is beginning to alarm.
I think there are other junctions as well where there are crossings, and particularly the one by the bridge. We've had to stop people to help elderly people, disabled people there across. Most drivers are actually very considerate. We're all, you know, a lot of us are drivers, but all drivers are pedestrians, and they've got children or grandchildren, whatever. So it's having sort of a consideration and really not having a confrontation, because I think it's the stress of it all that really gets people, especially parents and people who've got elderly relatives. So this issue of signage, I think that's you really need to talk to people on the ground here. You've been talking to me, but to hear where these hotspots are. And I'm sure in terms of this concern about signage in the road, warning of pedestrians, there's lots of drivers. That's the saving for people. Literally, they're saving them because they dive into these driveways to get out of the way of the traffic, and they can't get out, and they're just stuck there. Those householders would be all more than pleased to have a sign there. We've done them when we've had our campaigns there. So we need them quickly. If you're, you know, looking for putting these signs up, that's going to take a time. And the other issue is they'll go on lampposts. The lampposts are in the road. They get knocked. So when you come into Elsham Road, there's a sign there saying, you know, pedestrians in the road. Well, it always faces 90 degrees because it gets on from getting hit. So that I think needs, before we, you know, approach the county council, it needs a proper look. Cherry Tree Lane Junction, another issue there, pedestrian safety crossing at a junction, because you're looking different ways, as you quite rightly say.
But like people at table tennis match, you know, looking like that all the time, still committing, and then if the traffic's impatient, they're not, as they should, politely waiting.
I wonder if there's something we can do with the Safer Roads team about that in general, because obviously the West is going to see a lot more traffic, so perhaps we could get them to come out. Because I've had the Safer Roads team have helped me with Brickhill Lane, for example, and we've come up with some things there, but perhaps because it's a campaign for behaviour change for some of our drivers, but it's also what improvements we could get there.
Shall we we'll get them out and have a walk and a talk.
Yeah, and perhaps we could get the highways engineers out as well to see what's doable. Because I think
Yeah.
the thing is if we keep adding more signage, eventually people become blind to the signage because there's so much. So we don't want to have to remove some of the signage because some of the messages are key, but there may be some other things that could be done overall. But going back to the Weavers Way crossing, it's the crossing that's so once you cross the road, you're crossing into a junction almost.
Yes.
And that,
it
you know,
is.
I walk down that way, and that's quite tricky sometimes because you're watching so many directions of traffic.
The cyclists are there as well.
I should try and get the safer roads team out to see if there's anything.
I mean, the other thing you've got there is the Weavers Way car park, and in summer that's quite busy. So they're pulling up. They've got restricted vision right, so they're having to pull across a pavement to see right. You know. The other thing is that pavement ends there, so the school runs have to cross there to get up to the Ayrsham Road houses. Now I wandered up Vicarage Street. You know, you've got the white crossing lines. At the top. You know that as a driver, that makes me look for pedestrians. You know, so white crossing lines there for the school runs, and then you know people like me would use that to cross over and then cross over again, rather than do this little narrow little junction where you're looking three ways from 3 cars from Weavers Way car park.
We'll see what's
So
possible.
just something as simple as that to give people the option, cyclists coming out of Weavers Way. One of them is one day just going to shoot into the road. I don't think they even realise something there's a road there until you get to the end of it because of all the hedge.
And it feels quiet. As you're coming down Weavers Way, it's so quiet that you
Yeah.
don't expect to come out
Yes,
such a busy
exactly.
road.
Because I cycle along there anyway, but I know it, you know. And over this last year, as I said, I've lived there 4 years now, and over this last couple of years, and this last 2 weeks, and that's why I'm here, because I keep thinking something's going to happen one day. We're asking too much. You know, there's too much stress on that. Station
But
road.
just add to what we said about Millfield Road, the trucks are very.
Yeah, well, the trucks there.
Station Road is not universally, people don't use it still when they're not supposed to. There's only one pavement there. There's a building project going on the field there, which is going to make things worse. And then the junction, the crossing Bernie mentions, where people are coming off the train, and most people from our side of town going to town will go that way over the road there. You've got people coming down the hill speeding up, especially now there's lights to beat. And people coming out of town speeding up the hill because they think they're free in a way, and that's got serious risks. And there have been incidents there in the past.
Yeah, I think some colleagues did some speed checks along the other day and didn't find anyone. I think we had a couple on Cromer Road that were speeding out of town, but on Norwich Road, the level of compliance was, okay.
Well, they may not be breaking the speed limit,
But not from the other end. That would have been like Water Tower and coming out.
It's the acceleration. It's that moment. It's the wrong place to be crossing the road, really. But
Well, there is that new crossing going in, but that's lower down.
You wouldn't use that, though, would you?
But we'd spoken further up from the new
point.
estate, wasn't it, to try and link the new estate over for the families that are trying to get children to
Near the
school.
bus stop opposite Millfield, anyway.
Somewhere
Yeah.
up towards
Yeah.
that, we'd spoken about potentially looking at that as the next project. But
Well, that would be the next.
Partnership thing,
Yeah.
I recommend that they do that.
Well, that would be a good thing for the town council.
Yeah.
And then
That
we
was
could
partnership.
fund a bit of that, and then highways could fund a bit of that.
Yeah, so potentially if it gets approved, we can. I know the town council is in quite a good financial position, but if we've got money that we can,
Sorry.
if we've got money that we can put in from our budgets, then it will make the taxpayer money stretch further from local.
Talk about projects, yeah.
That'd be great.
I can add that to the list, and I can add Norwich Road.
I
While I'm
think,
out.
some more of these streets should be 20 miles an hour.
We had some-
Station Road and Millfield Road.
Was that the last meeting we talked about a 20-mile-an-hour town, didn't we?
No,
And it's
but
not good for emissions either.
no, it's not.
And what's the situation with enforcement? Are you empowered to enforce on a 20-mile-per-hour traffic
If there-
regulation or order as
Yeah,
opposed
if-
to a 20-mile-per-hour zone?
Yeah, if there is a traffic regulation order attached to the
Which we
20
have.
mile an hour, which you have on Aylsham Road,
Yeah.
then yes, we are. Yeah, we can. Enforce essentially.
Well, for an example, yesterday I was just driving from my mother-in-law's on Elsham Road, up Elsham Road, to go to Waitrose. there's a car behind me with a couple of ladies in it, and they kept flashing me because I was on the speed limiter at 20 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Right? But I stopped and I had to pull in because of the hedges and how tight it was.
Yeah.
Because I could see one of Sanders' buses
Yeah.
coming
Because
out
they're
of the
using
30
that
mile
at
an
the
hour
moment,
limit,
aren't they?
waiting to come down there. And you can't get a bus and a car.
Yeah.
Let alone a
And I would
bus and a
say
lorry.
that's been my experience the last few
And
days
this
driving
woman
along
behind
with
me started waving a fist at me, saying, "Why aren't you going?" You know, I mean, that is a problem. That's what I do.
As a blue light driver, I fully understand that. Yeah, it'd be very, very frustrating other drivers.
But,
Yeah.
but the problem is, if people use their speed limiters that are linked to a camera in the car that actually picks up the road signs,
What year is your car?
Right, let's get
Mine's
some
a bit
enforcement
older than
done,
that.
and then I
My
think
speed limit's my foot.
I can feed back to Bernie, Saul and Lucy about what enforcement's been done, and then get you to spread the word via our kind of social media, but also by you guys who
That's
are.
existing speed limits, enforcing the existing speed limits.
So we can do speed checks down those roads. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Would you be able to do those quite regularly over the next 6 months?
So-
As regularly as you are able to.
as regularly as
Because
I'm
I think,
able
I think
to,
that,
I think.
just to get into people's heads.
I think,
that
yeah, I
that's something
cannot be
happening.
on a road 24 hours a day. I don't work 24 hours a
Promise to
day.
be
I,
back to the
you know,
walk
and I
as
think we've
well.
discussed this before. So I have North Walsham, but I have 21, and myself and Alex have 21 other parishes. We have to spread ourselves between them. Walcott, there's an issue with speeding in Walcott and Facton. I have to be there. I have to be in Munsley. I have to be in North Walsham. So I will do as much as I can and feed back to you. But I also, like last week, have to cover response jobs. So I still have to deal with crimes. I have to be in the community. People say they never see a police officer on foot, so I also have to be on foot in town. So we're both trying to spread ourselves kind of as much as we can. But we will do as much as we can, and I will feed. I'm not going to feed back every single bit of enforcement that's been done, but if I can give you kind of a summary and just let you know, and then you know.
And there's 2 beat managers for North Walsham and the surrounding parishes, and in October I ended up having surgery, so I've been restricted. So Emma's been doing the work of 2 beat managers, my work and her own work, so she's like literally run ragged. So hopefully soon I will be back in uniform and back out there and can help out. But yeah, we hear your concerns and we do take it on board, and we will try and get out as much as possible.
Do you think that's time we brought back the PCSOs, we've done a small job? Well, there's a lot of places still have them.
I think that's a political question that I have. I don't get paid enough to answer.
You can see where that works.
Yeah, but PCSAs in our force didn't do speed enforcement, so that wouldn't help with the questions that have been raised here tonight.
So that didn't work.
So they're really valuable in other ways, but they wouldn't have done the things that you're requesting of me this evening. They wouldn't have done that enforcement. Yes, they're a visible, proactive tool that we would use in the community, but they're not going to be standing on Elsham Road or Station Road.
Anytime soon.
Well,
So what Sanctum is on Alsham Road at the moment, so I'll get the data off
yeah.
there.
Can we
after
get
4
it?
weeks.
Can we do it?
Soon.
Could we just do 2 weeks or a
2
week?
weeks, yeah, we're going to.
Just to give
So
us a
it's going
snapshot.
down one way, and then did you want it turned round so it's the other
Yeah.
way?
Can we just?
And then we'll see if we can put it down
Yeah.
New Skyton Road, Skyton New Road as well.
Yeah.
New road would be very, it really goes fast after you get away from those.
Yeah, so perhaps I'll speak to
narrow
it.
bit.
It took me a while to get it up, and because it wasn't charged, but
No,
now
Just
it's there.
it's not a police matter. Saul's partly aware of this, but there's going to have to be a road closure in Elsham Road in any
For the
case,
drain.
because
Yeah.
that drain is collapsing in the middle,
Mm.
and that is actually quite. By the day, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed on Skype, the new road,
Yeah.
the verges are all collapsing there. That's going to need urgent repair. So I
Can
don't
we
think
do that at
Saul's
night
aware
time?
of that one yet.
No, not
That's
yet.
what when I
Thanks
started
for
today,
that.
I thought this is getting really.
And then
quite
New Road
tricky.
is shut next week.
I was gonna say
as well.
2
Yeah.
days.
Can everyone just not drive?
I wouldn't drive, only I can't walk. Those bastards so bad.
So I'll get the data.
Oh.
Yeah. If
But
we can just
that's
do a
not
small
why
snapshot, just
we
to
want
give
a
us an
road
idea.
closure because we're digging a hole in the middle of it. So that's not the strategy.
What
about the
Sorry,
lawn
It's
is
gonna
in
be
the
difficult,
car park?
You want to say?
What about the lawn is in the car park?
So, I mean, I've been up there every late shift and then
You should have heard it 2
I know-
weeks
I know
since
we
on the
s-
Sunday.
when I
I
spoke
saw
to the
you, and 2
precincts,
weeks since on
yeah.
the Sunday my daughter was here.
Right.
And she slept in the back bedroom and she
Yeah.
comes and she could hear them. You have never heard anything like it.
Okay.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
I think, as I said to you the other night, and like if I'm on, like the other night I was on a late shift, but again I'm covering jobs, and if I'm out in Munsey for a job and I'm
Yes, I
I'm
understand
not
that,
here,
but it's
we
just
need-
not getting any better.
we need to report it.
In fact, they're starting earlier now. Sometimes they're there at 8:30 in the evening, and when it comes lighter nights, they're going to be there more than ever. And also, gangs of teenage youths have started gathering in there as well now.
Okay. So I have kicked a few out from behind the community centre recently. I wouldn't say gangs, I remember like 4.
Well, there were about
Um,
12 of them there other night when I was going to bed, about 8:45, when I pulled the blind
Okay.
down and I could
And
see
what are they
them.
doing? Are they?
Well, one
Are they
night they were setting fireworks off.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
things like
yes,
that,
yeah.
we need to hear.
Yeah.
We need it to be reported. Because if I'm not on,
No, I understand.
then my colleagues can at least come out to it and see what's
And
going
they're
on. If
speeding
not-
down that road. It's the
Speeding.
speeding.
So I
is
did
what's
some
worse.
speed checks, and no one was speeding.
She
And I did it
knew
at
the
school
owner of
time. I don't know
Zebra
if you
Crossing.
saw me. I did it
Last week she
between.
knew it was the owner of Zebra Crossing,
Yeah.
because they didn't stop.
There was no one.
If I can just quickly introduce myself, I've snuck in the back, having come from the Munsley District Council meeting. I'm Sergeant Graham Green, and I'm now working with the team at the front here,
Right.
and to cover all these issues that you're raising. In relation to the speed, and what is really important is we're reporting what we're witnessing. If it's acceleration, noisy exhausts and things like that, say it's just a loud car, because then we can deal with that. And it's an issue that we can then go and we can look at the issue, deal with it as that. If it's speeding and we're doing speed enforcement and we're not getting any speed readings or anything like that, at least we can come back to you and say, can we have a statement to say that your daughter was around the other day and there was wheels spinning and there was a noisy exhaust and all things like that, and then we can deal with it for what it is.
Yeah.
If there are youth or teenagers gathered, we need to look and see what they're doing.
Are we talking about where the bus station
Yes.
is? Because I live Hall Lane, and some evenings I can't believe that the noise
Yeah, it's
and
We're
the
right opposite the
screeching,
bus station.
the cars. It's speed. Well, they must be going berserk in that car park.
And I have a friend who lives down Pound Road, and the speed bumps there, and she said sometimes she thinks they're going to fly because they come down there that fast.
I mean, we
Down
do
there,
get it
yes.
in Hall Lane.
Yeah.
They still come down
Yeah.
there.
I know.
But where you New Road, I think, thank goodness, don't live that
Oh, we
close.
live in those new houses being built by the opticians there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live there.
Well, they congregate around the community
Yeah.
and round by the library. They all
Yeah,
park
they do.
in that.
Yes, they do.
There's probably about 20 cars there.
Traffic and the headlights going off and on and what have you.
But you're not going to get them during the day.
No.
So
It's really difficult because I don't know. Like when I'm proactively going there, it's not
They're never
happening.
there, are they?
Unless you're reporting it to us, I can't.
But by the time we've reported it and somebody gets there, they'll have gone. won't
But
they?
if you report it, and I know sometimes it can feel futile and you're not getting a response straight away, but we get a picture of when things are happening. So then, rather than saying to Emma or Alex, can you go out and do speed checks here, and they're coming back and they're saying there's nothing there, or can you go and do vehicle checks at this time, and they're not there, at least with it being reported, with the times, with the description of the vehicles, we know what we're looking for. So we can then target our patrols a little bit better, and that makes us more efficient.
Cameras in that area.
Yeah, they've got one.
There is a camera,
Just
but
one.
Because you could
We-
get
if
the
we check the-
registration and picture
yeah,
kids.
you
No,
can't
no.
always see the
You
registration.
can't see
It's
the
not.
registration.
Yeah,
Because
night
instead
with
of
the
coming
lights on.
out where they're supposed to go in that side and come out of that side, they're not. They're going in that way and coming out of that side. Having races, one goes sat there, their engine's revving, and then one goes that way, and you can hear them, one going round town, one coming round
Yeah.
Hall Lane to see who gets back first.
Well, I think there was a bit in the paper the police had put in
Well, yeah,
about one of these guys.
They've
Yeah,
caught
we
one.
seized the
Yeah.
vehicle.
They've seized
Yeah,
one, yeah.
confiscated.
Yeah.
And
It
that's the
has
thing.
got a little
We've
bit
worked
better,
on
hasn't
that.
it?
Yeah.
But they'll get a bit of confidence again and
Yeah.
they'll all be back.
Yeah, they will.
But I think the
since
issue we
that-
have as well,
yeah.
we have different groups of drivers. We have the group that I quite often see that are parked up, not really causing any issue. You'll then get groups that come from other towns, come in here, race around a bit, and leave and go to another town. Quite often Stalham, Kramer, showing in places like that.
I
It's
know
trying
it's
to
not
catch
just
up
here.
with the
I know.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
but it's it's trying to catch up with those groups because we don't know when they're coming here, we don't know who they are. We see the same group time and time again, and they're not necessarily the group that are causing an issue. They're the group that just sit up there,
See,
park up there, bit of
because
football.
we're all widows on that road, we don't go out and get the number plates just to see us. And then, we've had it.
And I think we did have this discussion before. I don't want to, when I speak to them, a lot of them, I'm a lone. I know I'm a police officer, but I'm a lone female essentially out patrolling at night time on my own. I've never in any way felt threatened by the group that sit there and park up. They're pleasant, they're chatty. I don't think they're the ones, but it's just trying to get the information of the ones who are causing the issue. We have a gentleman who lives on Hall Lane, and he quite often texts Alex and I. He texts him the other night actually. Yeah. By all means, I don't want to make anyone put themselves in an awkward position. I don't want you to go out there and go over the road and confront them. But if you can see a registration, if you can see a make and model, generally, Alex and I, we're very open. We both live in the town, so when we're off duty, we're always still watching anyway. We do see.
You do know the cars.
We do know the cars,
yeah.
So even if you can give us the make and model, we'll then be like, oh, okay, we'll look out for that, and we do then pick them up.
I've got a dog, and I'm walking along with my dog.
Yeah.
And next minute, it's in.
Yeah.
And then.
Like
and the same with me. I'll be driving to Sainsbury's and I'll see one of them, and I'll text my other half the registration, and I'll think, well, remember that, because then when I go into work, I've got the registrations. But that's because someone will tell me it's a, I don't know, for example, a blue Volvo. When I then see a blue Volvo, boom, there we go. We can have a look at it. But we rely on that information coming in from all of you. Without it,
Yeah, we do get emails from various members of the public who will email us to say, I've seen this vehicle at this time, this location, and what it was doing, and they give us the vehicle index. Like Emma said, we had one recently, so I sent out an email to all the police officers in North Walsham for them to keep an eye out on the vehicle. Since then, I have had an email back saying, we've been to the location, we've been to the address, it was parked up, but we're keeping an eye out on it, and that's what we need, because we have police officers that do go from job to job and patrol, and if they spot that vehicle, then they will deal with it. And we have spoken to them about Section 59s, which is like the antisocial behaviour in the vehicles, and like Emma said, if that's given out to somebody and they do it again, we'll seize their vehicle. And that's all we need to do, is put that message out to the people that are driving stupidly or really loud or excessive speed, that we will seize your vehicle. But if we're not getting that information, we can't deal with it. And there's numerous times I've been to the library car park, and there's been people there sat up watching Netflix, talking to each other. There's been a couple of times when there was loud vehicles, and I had a traffic officer there. It was brilliant. They were in North Walsham, and they dealt with them and gave some fixed penalty notices out for their exhaust. So Lucy knows, I am big on vehicles. I sat up in my daughter's bedroom the other day with my phone ready to record, because I've got a car that drives down my road so fast, and I hate it, I really do. Unfortunately I couldn't catch them, but I know who they are, and we will find them. I will find them when I'm on duty, and I will deal with them. we need to know this information, because we can't deal with them if we don't know it, and we can't be everywhere. If we're doing speed checks somewhere, and this is why report it on 101 or online reporting, so that other police officers in North Walsham can find out that information. If you email it to us, I'm doing 2 hours a day at the moment, so I'm not always picking up emails. Emma obviously only does certain days and then has 3 days off. So if we've got a report coming in on a certain day, by the time the next beat manager's in, there's no point, because they've gone, they've moved on to somewhere else. So we need it to be reported straight away.
It's the same conversation I've just had in Monday. It's exactly the same thing. If things don't get reported to us and we don't know where we need to be and what time we need to be there, it makes our job that much harder, and we can't get the results for you. But if we have the information coming in and we know where to be, then we can look at where we put our resources and how to do that effectively, and share the emails with our colleagues who are on response and going to and from jobs, so they just keep an eye out for a vehicle. I saw Alex's email and said, yep, seen it around town. When I was off duty, I saw a car, texted it to Emma, Emma went out looking for it. But we can put that out across North Norfolk, so they can keep an eye for the vehicle. We can link in with our other safer neighbourhood teams in Broadland and Norwich to see if that vehicle's cropping up there as well. there's things where we can work together to get a better picture of where the cars are going, and then target them and take them off the road.
So there's something that needs to just change with the way the online reporting happens, because the online reporting is sometimes takes longer than waiting for somebody to pick the phone up. So to make it easier for our community to report, there is something that needs to be done about the way that online reporting works, specifically for this issue, because it's too difficult. And I'm only looking over there because you have to do a lot of reports, and at some point when you're not getting a response or improvement, the reporting takes an extensive amount of time when you're reporting multiple times. So that's something that perhaps we can potentially ask you.
Again, I think
personally.
if you were going to do it here, you would have to do it.
You could do it not. You could do it
So it's
county-wide. It's
again, then it's not going to be me and Alex. They're going to be.
absolutely not. But maybe we need to. If we know who to speak to, then we will. But the other thing I was going to mention is the PSPOs. So I know that when we first raised this issue, you said you need support in the public space protection order. I just checked the cabinet agenda for next Monday, and the PSPO is on there. So the consultation's gone out. So hopefully that will give you guys the power that you need to be able to do the work you need to move these people.
I don't know if everyone, we discussed this at the last meeting about public space protection orders, and that would give us powers, well, the council powers, or we can enforce it on behalf of the council to disperse groups of boy racers. So, like you see the Jetty Boys in Yarmouth, where they all, gather down on the seafront and rev up their engines and bits and pieces, they could be dispersed. We don't have any of those powers at the moment. That's why it's gone to district to then put those back in place if possible, so that we can then enforce that.
I think that's what's important, because that's where we need to work together, because what happens on the police front sometimes is just a preventative measure, and yes, we might detect speeders, but that's not a long-term resolution, so it needs to be something where we work together. So after the police work stops, there's a long-term solution or reduction in what's happening. So that's where we have to work together, start sort of talking to each other a little bit.
Have you got any stats on possibly non-injury accidents at Haysborough Crossroads in the last 4 months?
I can get some. I haven't got them on me.
No, but I'm just wondering if they all get reported.
Yeah.
They are.
If they've come through to us, they would be reported.
Yeah, that's what I'm
but if they haven't, if no one's phoned the police, then no, I've got no way of. You'd have to get in contact with ambulance.
There's been a lot. There's been 2 in one day. There's just been an awful lot.
It needs remarketing.
But it does, and they've said they'll do it. But when? It's over 2 months since we asked.
If it's non-injury, obviously not everybody will report it, do they? That's the issue. With regards to the online reporting, if you've got issues with the online reporting, the only person that I can think that might be able to push for something is the PCC.
That's what I was thinking.
If you contact the PCC and explain about the online reporting and the issue that they have, little old PC me is not going to be able to do anything about it. I can put it up to my sergeant who can put it up.
To a lot of people, they just think can't do that.
I mean, the thing about reporting speeding and that, especially in walkways, we don't have lights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of speeding first thing in the morning. I mean, I leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's speeding then, and there's speeding last thing at night. And I'm right on the main road. So my dogs go ballistic every time lorries speed down there, coming from the.
Your dog's acting as radars then, speeding.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they go nuts.
Your dogs know whether they're speeding or not.
Oh, they go nuts.
They need some sort of speed calming measures just outside the fish and chip shop or something.
But so, like every 10 minutes when a lorry goes past, they go absolutely
farmers always
nuts.
vote against us on that because the tractors.
Yeah, and you can't get the registration number or anything because there's no lights, so you can't see a thing.
And I can't promise necessarily I'm going to be down there at 5 o'clock in the morning because I don't work 5
Why not?
But we can make some exceptions. Mumsy were having an issue at 6 o'clock in the morning. Maybe, we can make an exception and try and get down there early one day and do some enforcement at that time. But
while we're on highways matters, our TRO, our one TRO is now apparently 3 or 4 TROs.
3 or 4 sections to it.
Yeah, but they're saying that we've got to pay £10,000 for each bit. I'm sure that's what I saw. I'll have another look and I'll contact you.
I know that things are difficult financially at the county council. That's a big struggle.
is there anything more?
Sorry, can I just
Go on, sorry,
to the road again?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the speeding of the cars, really. I mean, I've come on that crossing twice and nearly got knocked over, and I can move quite quickly. Whereas, you know, think of older people crossing by the post office, the zebra crossing there.
They just drive straight across when
I
you're
think
in the
because
middle.
they're coming so fast down the road
Yeah.
that they're just not stopping, or so fast once they've passed Liddell's.
Yeah.
It's been a nightmare recently. I know
Yeah,
where
whereabouts
been
is
and
it?
Yeah, so when I did the speed checks down there,
I know.
no one was doing more than 30. So it's sometimes there were cars that were coming along, and it's almost upset. You could hear they were loud, and I think where you've got the buildings, the houses sort of close to the pavement either side, it does kind of funnel it, and it does seem a lot more. But actually, they weren't speeding. Yeah, and the same when I'm in your office. Sometimes when I look out and I think, but
I see
it's
cars
30.
not
It's
stopping
not
there
20
at all.
along New Road.
Unfortunately.
And yeah.
Somebody's going to get killed on that zebra crossing. So.
But that's for the general driver. I can't.
No,
That's
yeah.
road safety. That is schools, new drivers, old drivers. That is, you know, people paying attention.
We don't have any public information these days.
I
do
can't
we?
fix
I mean,
that.
that's the
No,
thing,
I don't know how. We need the hedgehogs back on the TV,
We
don't we?
do.
The little
And the
Billy
green
and
man.
long ones. Yeah.
You just
There was like a
young
road
for that one, aren't
safety
you?
thing, and there was
Yeah.
like a hedgehog holding a baby hedgehog's hands.
Yeah, there was
Advert.
green man before that.
The squirrel.
It's green man, yeah.
Is it squirrel?
Those are the tufty.
I thought it was a hedgehog.
I was bad. I was in the club.
Sorry, you are a little bit older
No,
than Emma.
you're showing She always says that.
Okay, I'm talking like 90s here.
Yeah,
you're young.
I was talking 70s.
Yeah, whether that does need to go back into our schools, whether, you know.
Yeah, I think it's getting them younger, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's people have got a lot less patience.
They
now,
do.
in general.
Yeah, I get that.
Driving.
Oh, Richard, sorry.
With the amount of concern that's being spoken about speed and driving, how many of your parishes are doing speed watch? And if you're not, why not? Because we've done it in Trunch, and it's made it.
volunteers.
We
We've tried
volunteered
6
to do it,
years.
but it hasn't been sorted out, has
So
it?
we were waiting for.
Yeah, for a meeting. So we're going to try and get there's some specials that help coordinate speed watch and do a meeting here.
Yeah. But they-
Yeah. It's just trying to find the right time, day, their
Because
availability.
there's 4 of us in our row that'll go and stand outside and do it. Get run over. Yeah.
You won't get one. I right, you will.
We will, because I'll jump out in roads and make us slow down.
But we were contacted by other locations that do speed watch that let us know what dates and times they're going out, and if we're free, we will come out and we will stand with you guys and support you guys.
Well,
And
we'll do it.
if you get any sort of abuse or anything like that, then we'll put it on the computer system and we'll deal with it.
I think Richard has said before, Trunch has been really successful
has.
with theirs. The thing is, you wouldn't just be standing on New Road all the time.
No,
you would
I
have
know.
to go to other locations
I know.
in the town to make it worthwhile. Say your Aylsham Road, your Station Roads,
Well, we don't mind.
yeah.
We'll do it.
What we do, we have a SAM 2 machine.
Yeah.
We move around the village.
Yeah.
So we know when people are speeding. And the speed watch goes out at those times.
Yeah.
So it's intelligence led.
Yeah.
And we've been supported by Emma in the past, where one guy went through 50, I think he got a visit.
He did go visit him.
But now people go in the village and they're looking for us.
Yeah.
Because the majority of people who are speeding are not bad people. They're people who they're unaware or they're in a hurry or whatever. And with the right reminder, they're going to slow down. You're always going to get the hooligans who, who make rude signs and all that. But it's going to have an impact. But it needs community action to do it, because you can't expect the police. The number of police officers that we've got in Norfolk is not many.
No, it's not.
The precept is coming up quite soon, and I'm sure we're going to get a shock on that. But got a new police and crime commissioner. I don't think she's published her
Plan. No, I think
Plan,
it's
yeah.
coming.
It's coming out.
It's coming out. So,
sometime this year.
She's very big on road safety, though. That's
Yeah,
her
it'd be
bag.
nice to know how that's going to manifest itself.
I mean,
But,
so far we've only had one serious accident on New Road and somebody came through the fence into our gardens.
I think there was quite a number all at once, so I'd put in a road safety partnership bid for New Road. We'd worked on that together, and it was turned down by the county council, unfortunately. I did get road safety partnership money elsewhere in the town, but that particular stretch was turned down, and then we had 3 quite big accidents in quick succession.
I think we need to be very clear that they're not necessarily related to speed. Sometimes they are related to health,
Stupidity.
intoxication of different means, distraction, phones, the like. I know we would like to say that it's all due to speed, but sometimes it's really not. I think we need to be clear on that. Yeah.
I think one of the frustrating things from my point of view is that back in 1990, when I was working at Courtney's in North Walsham,
You've done the rounds, haven't you?
Yeah, many years in Anyway, we used to do a lot of special tuning on Vauxhalls and stuff like that. And we developed basically what is now the technology going into cars with speed limiters. Yeah. Well, you've got, and obviously Europe has only just gone ahead and actually made it compulsory that all cars have got to have the camera which controls the speed limit linked to the ECU. We developed that back in 1990 in conjunction with lots of cars. We went to the government with that proposal that would actually stop speeding because the car would read the speed limit sign and the engine would not be able to go over the speed limit in any built up area. The government at the time turned it down as making it compulsory because they would lose too much money from speeding fines.
But can you turn these things off? Because Emma wouldn't be very happy.
On the current
Would it be ideal on a blue light run when you're like,
no, I mean, obviously you can turn them off at the moment, but Europe just brought in the rule, in Europe, you can't turn them off, which is what we actually promoted to the British government back in 1990.
It sounds like it's probably something that's too difficult for the British government to deal with, because obviously you'd have to link in with the locations and the speed limits and
No,
things
it's all
like that.
done through GPS, through sat nav GPS system.
what about the vehicles that are made abroad though?
Well,
Is there going to be a post-manufacture cost, isn't there? And then that's where the issue
but
is.
I mean, they've actually got that in now, and the cars that are coming in from Europe into Britain have to have a way to disable it. To satisfy
Interesting.
the
Well,
British rules.
one again above my pay grade. Let's get on to Steph Aquarone about
We
that.
could reduce all the manpower that the police are taking, all the risk of injuries.
I would like to drive one like that.
Why? Works fine.
Not
I
proper
would
driving,
use
is it?
I
It's
would
not
use
like having these robots and things.
I was smart at the police vans on the side of the road.
I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, the way technology is moving forward, I think there's AI now to catch people on their phones. Whether we will see that in this part of the county, that would be really good to have some enforcement along those lines. But again, we can ask, but like I say, we're often the poor cousins, so sometimes we don't always get
That's
that.
why I just get frustrated with it.
Absolutely no skill in driving whatsoever.
Going back to the crossroads, can you chivvy up highways at all? Can you sort of give them a
Painting.
painting white? Yeah.
I've given Justin a small poke during this meeting.
Well, it's a big one, not a small one, love.
I think if a lot of people, it's like the fix my street thing. If you notice that lines aren't being done, if all the residents go on and start doing it, they'll suddenly.
I've got a paint pot.
I can email as well. That's fine. I can email tomorrow. Just
there
say.
have been an awful lot.
I think my emails sometimes aren't necessarily high on the response order, but we can definitely try.
It's not going to hurt, is it?
No. I think obviously that's probably fairly low down the list when they had the road closure there for a while for the Baton Falls.
So that's what I was wondering, because it's.
Are they not going to look at that while they've got that closure there?
Well, the closure's not there anymore, is it?
No, but there is a rolling. There's supposed to be a closure, isn't there, over months?
There's accidents.
No, I know.
all
So,
the time.
so there has been they come in quite quick succession, don't they? So we had 2 or 3 in quick succession, then about a year prior to
Oh no,
that.
there've been several in the last 4 months, I think.
But they all sit, so you'll get them in close. So it would be great to have the data, because perhaps there's a little bit more that's needed to be done there.
Last month, didn't they?
I can ask for the data.
Well, you'll only get the data if people.
The data
and
is-
I think a lot of them probably.
Like I said, the data would be
non-injury.
the data I can get is only stuff that's been reported
Yeah.
to us either through on the phone or directly reporting non-injury RTC.
Would you be able to get the information from County Council, because they've replaced street furniture there and collected stuff up?
I can. I don't know if it'd be better coming from
Well,
you,
if
but
you try and
I can ask.
double attack it, we can.
What, from Justin directly? Yeah, of course I can. Yeah. I'll send them an email tomorrow. Anything else that we feel from a policing point of view needs to be fed back to our partners for our next meeting?
God, I've been patient.
Sorry.
The road up Sainsbury's past the chip shop.
Yeah, Acton Road.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, I'm crap at it.
Yeah.
But the footpath on the right hand side past the chip shop is an absolute disgrace. I fell over on a pothole about a year ago.
From a policing point of view, I'm going to look at Lucy.
I'll report that right now.
Well, just talk to anybody then.
Yeah,
I'll report that right now.
It's not something we would.
I reported it about a year ago, and a very nice man said, "Oh yes, sir, we'll have a look at that, sir," and I got nothing back from it.
Was there any, okay, did we ever see any of the white paint come out onto the pavement to show that they'd been out and inspected it, do you know?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I will report that.
The whole footpath down there is
It
disgusting.
does. So there was slightly further down where Melbourne Road, that took quite a lot of time to get some of that pavement rebuilt. And then the road needed replacing in the middle, and then further up there was a little bit near the cemetery. That was quite a tricky bit to get replaced as well.
They had a little hole filled up with a piece of tarmac, which obviously came out very quick, so it now floods. If you don't time it right, and some car comes down, you get soaked, and the cars park outside the chip shop across the path.
I will, if you give me a few moments, I will do that while
Only a few.
I'm here. I'm going to stop the camera hands not ready.
I think Highways has hijacked your meeting tonight.
I think it has, hasn't it? Just get representative every time. Just come and sit down.
I was wondering whether or not it might be worth to make this more police focused if Sol and I just held a highways.
Highways meeting.
If Sol and I held a highways meeting.
Yeah.
Because we could probably join up on both our divisions. To save you guys having to sit through. Highways
So is there anything else from a policing point of view? Antisocial behaviour, anything with regards to...
One thing I do seem to notice a lot of nowadays is at night time vehicles park the wrong way round
Yeah.
with no
Is that
lights
not
on.
illegal?
I don't give out parking tickets anymore, so they took it off me in
Yeah, but
2015.
is it illegal? It always used to be.
You can have a ticket for it for not parking. Yeah. But I don't give out tickets, so...
I know you don't do tickets, but you know the bit where the ice cream van parks at Walcott?
Yeah.
That big bit of tarmac.
On the pavement, or next to the...
Quite often a 16-wheeler parked there at night, actually on the path, obviously having a sleep.
Yeah.
Is that sort of normal?
I mean, there's no restrictions there, so... Well, it's on the pavement or it's on the road?
On the
HGV should not
On
be
the
on the
pavement.
pavement.
You know,
HGV should not be on the pavement.
I'll be completely honest with you. I think unless it is completely obstructing the pavement that you couldn't walk past it, or if you were in a wheelchair or you had a pushchair with you, they're not going to give out tickets for it. But I'm going to give out a ticket for that.
But it just seems strange. It's backed right up to the sign normally, and they just sit there. But we have had a couple on that corner, a couple of cars on that corner as we come round, that have actually had the corners taken off.
Oh, okay.
Weren't you looking at getting some sort of parking restriction?
Yes,
No,
it's not
that's what I'm
because
saying.
that bit's, that bit's in Acton, not
Yeah, but just
it's
further
further down.
It's back to
So we'll have to petition back to sort something.
The van that's been parked in Walcott for forever, its tax ran out end of November.
We don't deal with
You
tax.
can report that
Do you
to,
not?
yeah,
You
you
do
can
it on the
report that.
DVLA.
Is there anything policing?
No, they took that away from us.
DVLA. So DVLA, you pay your tax to DVLA. DVLA are the ones that
on the
you
website.
can report. Take a picture of it, do it online. That's
And
what
it's
I've
being
done.
reported to the council to move him now because he shouldn't be there.
Okay, so district are looking at that.
Hopefully.
So we had one locally that I believe has been dealt with, but we have reported that through the DVLA. So it was a DVLA council police triangulation of
Beyond
effort.
Road?
No, that went. Yeah, that
DVLA won't remove vehicles.
It was the
Yeah, it's
it
the
was
abandoned vehicles team.
the chap over on our side. They had a van.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
That's been changed out.
Here's one thing, the amount of trailers that are on the back of cars and lorries and vans.
No lights.
No. with different number plates.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're regular around here.
And if I saw one, I would stop it and enforce that. But if I don't see them, if I'm not there at the right time, then again.
So we just let them carry on then.
Well, I mean,
It's
no, I'm not going to let them
yeah.
carry. If I'm on patrol in a vehicle
I bet if they
or
take a
on foot,
photograph
and
of
I would need to give a ticket. I would need to see it at the time happening in front of me, like a mobile phone. I would need to then stop them and in
sorry,
uniform. And,
which number plate do you take then? The trailer or
So
the,
then-
or the van? You can't do that on a camera like this. It's not that quick.
well, yeah, I don't.
If
No,
you-
what I'm
if
saying
you-
is I'd need to be on patrol, and if you can get them, email them through to me. Then when I'm out and about, I'll keep an eye out or to see where they're parked up, or if I can get the home address, then I can kind of loiter nearby. But
you're best getting the vehicle number plate,
yeah.
because then that will be registered to an address, and we can sort of keep an eye out in that sort of location.
Yeah, because the problem with it is, if one of those vehicles hits you or hits your stationary vehicle, you get the number plate of the trailer. That's not my trailer. I wasn't driving that. I wasn't on my van.
But we have powers that
I mean,
we
that's
can deal with. but we
that's
have
few and
to
far
see them
between.
ourselves.
I would.
How many do you want?
How many accidents do we have where trailers hit someone and we don't know who they're linked to?
Yeah.
Very few and far between. I would say that's
you
not.
don't care about the rest, mate.
But,
There's loads of them around here.
Yeah.
I'd sit in Christopher's in the morning.
okay.
You come and sit and have a coffee with us.
Well, I quite often stand on the corner, so they
There are
haven't
quite a
seen the
few.
load. So.
Sometimes we have jet skis come down and the trailer doesn't have any number plate on, and the vans do.
I mean, we can definitely look out for those when we're on patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I'm not
you
going to
know,
make
it's-
any promises that
No,
they're going to be
I'm
number
not
one on the
asking you
list,
to.
but
It's
they.
just the point of interest, you know.
Well, anyway, so we both quite like traffic offences.
Not
Give out,
committing them.
quite happily give out tickets or traffic offence reports as they're called now. If you hear us referring to tours, that's what we call them now. I'll quite happily give out tours, not a problem, because I have to
Yeah.
find it happening in front of me. So
Yeah, they have to be mobile, don't they?
I'll come and sit in Christopher's one morning with you and we'll have a little look.
No,
Whilst
because I
I'm
think
on
the
I know
police.
the one thing I want to see done is up near the health centre, because every car goes back past that lights up that
On
thing.
near Birchwood
All
and
the
Paston,
time.
yeah, I
So
have
they
seen
look
that.
like a bit of news about 20
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, I've seen
They're
that.
accelerating up that hill actually, and a lot of cars are coming out from the Paston, and some are coming out from the Birchwood, and you've got a car going like mad.
But when I'm down on Aylsham Road, I can do a little loop. I can start on
because we walk the town,
Park
like the
Lane
town
and
vigilantes when my husband walk out those streets, and they just go up night times, don't they? You know, daytimes is worse with Paston children coming out, but that's very dangerous. That near the health centre, because you get elderly people coming out of the surgeries, and you get we've heard them pick each other mad, haven't we? They just go.
realistically, most of it is enforcement around speeding at
Well,
this
you see,
time.
because they think I'm 30 or 20, they don't read the route. They think I've got to keep that speed. That's like we're getting across the post office. I mean, we nearly got turned out on Grammar School Road the other day.
Yes, about
a car
crossing
came
on
up
Grammar
with
School
oblivious
Road.
across to that crossing and didn't stop. And if we'd have been on that crossing, we'd have been hit. They came from the Norwich Road. That's before the road was closed.
Yeah.
And they're oblivious to crossings. And I mean, and those crossings have been there a long time, like the post office.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that post office when I was a child, but not there. Well,
I think it
they
goes
haven't
back
been
to
put there.
what earlier said about impatience and,
Yeah,
and
but I
people
mean,
just
that is
not.
the thing. I mean, they'll trim somebody out. There's a lady behind me said that's only a matter of time.
I think
They're
though
all mad round
on
this
a
now.
bigger scale though, that's a change of attitude, and I don't think us three sat in here today are gonna.
You haven't got time for
No.
them. But you've just got to be on your toes to see them. And you mustn't go on a crossing till you're absolutely sure they're going to stop. We don't want a crossing.
No.
I've got to stop
Too
their
dangerous.
wheels.
Yeah.
And I look at them, and I look at them, and now I'll go across as slow
I
as
think
I
that's
can.
the thing, isn't it? It's
because
making,
you're
it's making
waiting for
eye
me.
contact.
You're
It's
waiting for me.
acknowledging that
I
they're.
think the
But
problem
you
is
mustn't
they
go
don't,
on them till they stop, because on grammar school
the problem
roads,
is,
we've
in
been through that.
theory, with a lot of crossings, the law says that you've got to put your foot as a pedestrian on the crossing.
Like in
before
Belgium
you
or
cross
any
the start.
anywhere, you have to start walking.
I was always told to drive in 1968, approach traffic lights and pedestrian
Exactly.
crossings with caution.
Yeah.
That's out of the wind. That was 1969.
Yeah.
I do apologise. That's too
I
bad.
think a lot of the rules and regulations around driving have changed, and I think it wouldn't hurt to do a public thing and actually
Yeah,
give
I don't want
new
you to-
drivers.
However, our young people are probably examined more than our older generation
Yeah,
ever
exactly.
were.
That's what I'm saying. The older generation I think a lot of them are not aware of the new rules and regulations
No, they're not.
regarding driving.
Pedestrians.
Not only pedestrians,
Drivers regarding pedestrians.
yeah, and road signs and and signs on the road and everything else.
You can be busy, aren't you, Emma?
Well, I'm not going to be doing that. I
Speed
don't
watchers, driver education.
I think driver education is a big thing, but I don't know. I'm saying that's not my level.
On the television.
Have that on the television.
Different one every week.
I don't think I've got the power to do that.
That's what you're planning at. That's what I was told. You haven't got the power, get it from somewhere.
Yeah. So locally, is there anything more that you feel that we should feed back to our district partners that you feel that is, other than speed enforcement, is causing any issues within the community, within our community?
Thank you for all your
I want to speak about something, but I just want to speak on a one-to-one.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can do that afterwards. Yeah, if anyone does want to mention anything afterwards, by all means. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Thank you for being very approachable. Well done, sir.
So what is
on highways.
Yeah, I should get a job in highway. Maybe it's a career for me. So we will feed back to you guys, like I say, as a community. I'll put some stuff out on social media where possible, feed it back to Lucy and Saul and get them to put some stuff out locally as well. Next meeting, Laura's underlining for me. 28th of April. If everyone wants to put that in their diaries again, here at 6:30. If you're,
That'll be with me.
that'll be with Alex. She'll be,
I should be back uniform and
if anyone does want a reminder of that, I have like an Outlook contacts list, which a few of you want. If you want me to add you onto that, so you get an automatic email kind of the week, 10 days before, just to remind you of that. Let me know and I'll write your email down. If not, just look out for social media or stick it in your phone now, as Wendy's doing. And if anyone wants to have a chat with like Alex, Laura, or I after the meeting, then please do. If there's anything you want to raise personally, if not, we'll see you all on the train. No, not me. No, not you. Oh no, you'll be in Egypt.
Yeah,
no. Rub it in.
I'll put that as well.
Yeah, thanks.
28 is not.
The bank holiday.
No, we haven't.
I did it. It took me ages to mention it. Of course you can.
What's your email, sir? What's your name?
Hello. I thought you got a meeting.
Yeah. Are you not wearing
Yeah, I do. I mean, Chrissy does longer ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all quite nice. But you're all well otherwise.
Yeah.